appreciate the patience of those of you who had to wait, and welcome you, and again remind you to silence your mobile devices. Ask you to come to the table for your presentation. Gentlemen, you've had the agenda for approval. I will entertain a motion for.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Heard Wayne's motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Hearing none, that's unanimous, Madam Clerk. Items for decision. Board of Elections payout of compensatory time for Board of Election non-exempt employee, presented by Debbie Mace, our Director. Debbie, come forward, please.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I guess might as well start with the first item, the overtime hours that are exceeded by Miss Wanda Orders. She's our part-time person, as you all are aware. Overtime hours have been exceeded due to required working hours during the 2016 general election. The Board of Elections Board lost one employee in September of 2016. There was not ample time prior to the general election to screen resumes, hire, train a replacement for that employee. Therefore, the burden of the workload fell on Ms. Order's shoulders, and overtime hours were accrued. Overtime hours could not be taken between September and December of 16 to reduce those accrued hours. Overtime hours will be scheduled and have been. She's scheduled 4 weeks already off and taken by Ms. Orders once the 2016 election has been concluded. Mrs. Orders works 4 days a week and has returned to that schedule following the 2016 general election, but continues to accrue overtime hours on the days that she does work. Since the election's over, there's very little. As a matter of fact, she's on her strictly 4/8. There's no more time being accrued. Now, as you're aware, and I have not officially been told, there may be a recount. And if there is, there will be minimal labor associated with that, because that'll fall on most of the staff's shoulders. But I may have to have Wanda a day or two, no more. Beginning with the first quarter of 2017, the board has requested that I provide a quarterly report to the board of all accrued hours for BOE employees. This will enable the board and the director to monitor staff hours and help to eliminate exceeded overtime hours in the future. And as y'all have already figured out, this situation can only be avoided one way, and that's give us enough help. I don't know what else to say. That left us with one full-time and one part-time person. I, once again, had to become staff. And my board, I'm sure, does not appreciate the director's position sitting there, and it's set there.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard Debbie's information. Any questions for her regarding this matter?
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Mace, I understand this will be the last any-up that will be expected this year from the Board of Election. No further question.
Any other questions?
Mr.
Debbie?
Taylor, you did say this would be the last, and I did mention about the recount. Now, I did hear a rumor a few moments ago that the race as far as the governor is over.
That's what I've
Now,
heard.
there is a state auditor that has a difference, and depending on what he decides, we may still be in a recount, but like I said, that would be minimal, because most of that would fall back on the staff.
You need a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Just one question for Debbie. Help me understand the staff there.
Okay.
This, of course, is a non-exempt person, so everyone else, are they on a basis where they can accrue overtime and take it off, and this person is not? Is that correct?
That's right. Her overtime, it goes into a comp situation. and anything over 240 creates a disaster. And on election and during election, early voting went from 7 days to 12 and a half, just like that, over a court ruling. You know, our budget was set aside just for the 7 days, and all of a sudden they doubled it on us. We'll get to that in a moment. But yes, Wanda accrues comp at a great pace, because without her, it would be the one person doing our machines and our election night reporting and our burning of the media, that type of thing, and then I'm helped with the bag for the rest.
So the person that left you back in September, they still have not been replaced, is that correct?
No, sir, I am interviewing tomorrow, because I didn't have time to do that during the election.
Was
But I do
there
have
enough,
interviews tomorrow.
Was there any budget dollars left from that position, Brian, do you know?
Should be.
There's salary, but the thing is that y'all approved in the last time that we met for them to temporarily bring in a poll worker to do that job that was absent, that came over to IT.
No, she didn't do his job. She did just a couple little things to help me and Wanda out to
But
keep our head above.
She was there to take part in that. And I have to wonder what the job title is for Mrs. Orders and what the job title is for that other person, and if those two are doing the same thing or they're doing extremely different types of work.
They're similar, a lot, they have a lot of similarities, but this position also does a lot of the lifting, getting the totes ready, doing the inventory on the supplies that go to precincts that Miss Orders does not do. She's more or less strictly held in the office to duties. This person would work across the hall and do other things.
The person that the board authorized you to temporarily hire for a limited period of time, what was their job function?
The only thing she knew how to do was answer the phones and answer some questions. She basically got the phones off of our backs long enough till we could get to them to take everybody's call, so that we didn't have people calling the state board left and right saying, I can't get through in Burke County. She did the phones. She knew how to look people up in our system and assist a voter at the front counter somewhat. And that's it. That's all she knows.
And when the board took action last time on this, they took her from whatever her account was down to about 105 hours of comp time. And since that time in October, she has now gone over and exceeds 240 hours. So you've gone from 105 to 200 and, do we know exactly what the count was? Is it 260 or 280? And there's not any likelihood that those comp hours could be given off in the near future?
She's taken, starting the first of the year, she's put down for 4 weeks off from January to like April. So she's going to use her comp time. We're good. She knows she's got to bring it way down. But it was a situation, I didn't have a choice but work her. I knew this was coming, but I couldn't stop it. I didn't have anybody else to stop it with.
Okay, any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, could I ask a question? Brian, I think maybe, you probably haven't had time, but we talked about checking in to see the proper staffing for a county our size and try to compare it with some other counties. I don't know if you got a chance to do that, but I'd like to see us lay this to rest, and we have some new guidelines here. Maybe check with staffing in other counties our size if you haven't got a chance. But this is coming up on our agenda quite often and whatever, and I don't know if we're understaffed or whatever, but maybe we could look at this a little more as we get into the new year here.
Yes, sir. I've had some responses. Of course, with everything that's going on right now, there's one county left that has not responded. And I was looking at counties of population of approximately 90,000. So I will have that I can get to y'all hopefully by the end of this week.
I just like to see this, if we're understaffed, to take, as we go into our new budget process, take care of this. If we're right, then we're right. But it's been coming up quite often, so let's just try to take care of it this year.
One reason, if you'll think back, this is the only year I've really had to come to you and ask for these degrees, this severity. And the reason for that being, we just voted almost 70% of our voters' population. That has never happened since I've been here in 12 years. And that's caused most of this. I haven't been sitting here before y'all twice in a year since I've been here, but it's the volume.
Well, what added to that, you had one of your regulars
Leave.
quit on you, and can it be a contract, counselor, that says you can't quit 3 months before an election?
I don't think it's enforceable.
Yeah, we tried to hang on to him till after the election, but it didn't work.
Any other questions for Ms. Mason?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. How many full-time you got, Deb?
One and myself,
So there's 2 full-time, that's including you,
and a part-time,
and 1 part-time.
and one open position for a full-time.
1 what, I'm sorry?
One open position for a full-time.
So you got 1 vacancy. So there's 3 full-times, just 1 vacancy.
There's 2 full-time and a director and a part-time. Because I really should not be in a staff position. So really, staff-wise, I have 2 full-time.
Why are you not in a staff position?
Because I have a director's job to do, and it's totally different. I got lucky that I didn't really get ream steamed and cleaned from the state board last election.
So we got a director's position and then 2 full-time, and 1 of the full-times is vacant.
That's correct.
Okay, and then 1 part-time.
That's right.
How many
32
hours does a part-time authorize?
32.
Okay, when we went from 7 days to 12 and a half days, did the hours extend also, or just the days extend?
Same hours, just more
Same
days.
hours.
Mhm. And because the lines were so long, we couldn't cut off at 5 o'clock like we had wanted to. Every one-stop site had lines out the door. We had to vote those people every day, so our workers had to stay till they were finished. And you're talking another hour, hour and 15 minutes.
The other full-time person, have they accrued any comp time, or how's that working?
I think he and I both have 60, 70 hours, which that will be gone shortly. We need to take that, trust me.
Any other questions? Okay, gentlemen, I'll entertain the motion on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to approve the payout of compensatory time of 64.89 hours, partially $950 for a non-exempt Board of Election employee utilizing general fund balance as presented.
Okay, you've heard Commissioner Taylor's motion. All in favor signify by the uplifted hand. Madam Clerk, that's 5-0. Thank you. Okay, Debbie, let's go on to item 2, request for extension of temporary time-limited election specialist position.
This is only on the Tuesdays that Ms. Orders is not working. She works Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And until I can get these interviews behind me and my board can approve the hiring of somebody to fill that full-time position that we have open, this is just to ask that Ms. Furr work on Tuesdays the month of December, 4 days. That's all I'm asking, is 4 days.
All right, you've heard this information, gentlemen. Any questions for Debbie? So Debbie, you have, again, without this person, I would assume you'd have difficulty manning the front counter perhaps through lunches and things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
And without this person.
Mr. Chairman, so Wanda's working 32,
Correct.
and then Ms. Furr's taking up the 8 on Tuesdays. That's a full-time job, right? Because of the vacancy, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So when you fill your vacancy,
Ms.
is it your
Furr,
intent to keep Wanda at 32?
yes. And Ms. Furr will be gone.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the information. I'll entertain a motion on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to approve the extension of the temporary time-limited election specialist position working for 4 Tuesdays in December 2016 for 32 hours as presented.
Okay, you've heard Commissioner Taylor's motion. All in favor signify by the uplifted hand. 5-0, Madam Clerk. With that, gentlemen, I think, unless I hear any other matters, be adjourned.